My name is Jess Richter. I am a German-Canadian artist based in Treaty 4 territory, and I'm interested in submitting some work to Threads. So my family is German-Canadian on my dad's side, and we immigrated here in the 1950s. And cultural identity as a German Canadian has always been very important to me, as well as the fragmented experiences that I think a lot of Canadians have. Sorry, that was my cat. Hi, Louise. That a lot of Canadians have as a result from maybe being from places that don't exist anymore, being from multiple places and countries, or having parents from different ethnicities. And I'm interested in how we can weave all of those things together to create many interesting Canadian identities. And I think that folklore and folk imagery are really important methods for bringing these identities together in a way that's positive, healing, and helpful, but also critical maybe of some of the practices that have come over from the different countries we've come from. As a German Canadian, I've always found identity to be very troubling to have and to explore, because my entire life I was excluded from Canadian national identities because of where my family was from. Fighting in World War II was, a really big way for Canada to form its identities, and I've been negotiating what it means to be as a Canadian who not only didn't, isn't a part of that, but is actually on, is on the enemy side of that. And what does that mean for me as a Canadian? Am I ever going to be Canadian? I've been told I'm Canadian, but I don't always feel like it. So, retaking folk stories and folk traditions from my many different countries of origin, ethnically German, but full of other different countries, like German family living in Ukraine, in Prussia, so lots of beautiful traditions to draw upon. And so, yeah, that's kind of where these pieces are coming from. So I worked in watercolor and gouache for this piece, and I brought in many different references to my heritage and these different backgrounds that I'm exploring. I brought in a wolf, a traditional fairy tale symbol of danger, but also very much a part of Russian history as well. And I brought in a girl with a dirndl to reference my German history, as well as a cuckoo clock that I've kind of deconstructed and turned into a deity. You see that there are also Scandinavian runes that symbolize fullness and protection and history, and kind of represent how researching and coming to terms with your own familial identity can make you into the person that you really are. And I've really set them up with this deity of this deer being the person, the thing that is making it come true for them, that connecting to all of these different threads of identity is how we become who we are. And really leaning into the imaginative and the enchantment. It doesn't have to be dry work, but storytelling is just so important and wonderful, and mythology really helps us create things. Creating deities and stepping away from the everyday is how I think we can re-enchant our identities and become what we are. So yeah, this is my piece. It's done in gouache and drawing. It's a meditative process for me, and is really a way to think about where I come from, where I see myself going as a Canadian, and kind of meditating on how storytelling can be a way that really reaches across really difficult conversations and creates empathy. And I think that's what's really important to me, is creating empathy with storytelling and using your own background to be more empathetic to others who are even newer newcomers. And I think that's such an important thing to me, that I remember that my family identity and history makes me become a more sympathetic, empathetic person who wants to see people be Canadian on their own terms. So yeah, this is my piece, some of its parts, and thank you so much for taking the time to hear about my piece. And yeah, thanks so much.